All right, everybody. Let's get right into this episode of Buckeye Banter. We're going to mostly talk about the Browns. Quickly, am I disappointed? Yes. Am I encouraged? Yes. Can I be both things at the same time? Absolutely. We'll get into that more very shortly. And we're going to talk briefly about the Cavs. So, let's do this new episode, Buckeye Banter. Welcome to Buckeye Banter, Sports in the OH. All right. So, gut wrenching. I don't know how else to describe it. It was heartbreaking and sad and frustrating and encouraging all at the same time. Yes, I think we can say that it was both of those things. Um, I don't know what Lamar was doing in the locker room. Twitter has its own opinion. Lamar claims that's not what was happening. Either way, it's funny if that was what was happening. As someone who's played, um, you definitely dread that might happen. And getting out of that uniform quickly and trying to do your business, if that's what Lamar was doing, it ain't easy. So yeah, I don't know what was happening, but Twitter seems to think that maybe that was it, and it's pretty funny if it was. Wish he would have been a little longer in the John if that was the case. But that play that he made coming back on the field, 4th and 5, I think it was. Um, I can accept that one with our weaknesses better than I can accept what we did on the final drive. To me, the final drive, I just don't understand. How do we let Mark Andrews, who's the only guy on that team that has shown that he can consistently catch the ball, catch 3 passes? Make Brown do it again. Make him catch a ball. The guy has dropped everything thrown his way except for that one big play all night. Like, make him beat you. Mark Andrews should not be the guy catching the 3 passes to march them down the field and get Justin Tucker a chance to kick that field goal to win the game. Um, let's face it, if you have a kicker like Justin Tucker, it gives you a lot of confidence, and we're missing that too because we can't rely on the fact that we're just drive down the field and kick a 50-some yarder and know that it's going to be good. But when you got a guy like Justin Tucker, one of the greatest in the history of the league, and the numbers indicate that to be the case, you have confidence that you just need to get to a certain place on the field and he could win you a ball game, and that's what he did. So why am I encouraged? Because obviously I've just now expressed my frustrations. There's a lot more to the frustrations than that. The DBs and the linebackers on this team have been lacking since day one of this season, and they got worse with the injuries that we've experienced. We don't even know if Greedy Williams is going to come back ever. Ward struggles to stay healthy. Ronnie Harrison, who seemed like a good pickup, is now on the IR. So, assuming we can get, and Delpit hasn't played all year. So if we could get, let's just scratch Greedy for now because we just don't know. But if we get Delpit and he ends up being what they think he can be, and based on what we're seeing from a lot of their ability to evaluate talent, I'm not doubting that Delpit is going to be good at this point. Jacob Phillips has proven to be a pretty good player as he's gotten healthy and gotten some reps. So Delpit, Harrison, Ward. That's 3 pretty good pieces at the back end. Now what we really need is another 2 pieces in there. Maybe Carl Joseph comes back as what he was supposed to be, which is like a 3rd or 4th safety. Hopefully Sendejo is not needing to come back. I hate to say that the day after the guy got concussed, but he's just struggled all year. We've also got the linebacking core. I mean, this is just, I don't know that we've seen, other than maybe some brief moments from Mac Wilson and Takitaki, anything that really shows me that they're consistently starters in this league. And the other guys, Goodson and Smith, have been admirable, but they're old, so we can't rely on them for long. And then you've got Phillips, who I was just talking about, who I think has shown maybe the most potential out of any of these young linebackers. But that leaves a lot of need at linebacker. So I hope that we go into this offseason really looking to focus on at least one more corner and depth at safety, and some probably at least two linebackers have got to come in on this offseason, if not more. Because if we can move the needle in those areas, this is going to be a dangerous team. The majority of the rest of this team is kind of locked in for a while. Assuming that they locked up the extensions on the players that you think they will. And they showed last night what they can do on offense, and that's where my encouragement comes. So, we've got Chubb, we've got Hunt. They're ridiculous. Baker made the plays that he needed to make, aside from the ones that he still frustrates me on. And if I was Stefanski and Alex Van Pelt, this offseason for him, I would just say, work on that touch pass. Work on that touch pass. Work on that touch pass. You've got that zip like no business, and you wing it in the spots where a lot of people can't get it into, and that's great. But when that guy's out in the flat and he's just hanging out by himself, you got to be able to get it to him with a little touch. You can't get it on them so fast that they can't handle it. And that's what he does too often. To me, that's his biggest fault still. I don't mind a little gunslinger. I don't mind a little, that's who he is. But that pass in the flats that we need because of the play action, especially, to be able to get to those guys, the tight ends and the running backs especially, it's got to have a little more touch on it. So, but I think he can do it. I think it's just something that he really needs to put some focus into. But you know what happens, guys? If you're not learning a new playbook every year, you get a chance to do that. You get a chance to worry about other things. And God willing, we're going to go into this offseason and retain as much of this staff as we can, most of them, if not all of them, and come back next year with a team that is familiar with the playbook and knows what's going on. And it's going to be a huge benefit. So, my encouragement is that we hung with this team that wailed on us at the beginning of the season. I mean, wailed on us. It was embarrassing how bad that game was at the beginning of the season. Even Harbaugh said it after the game. He said, this is a team that's improving, and they're going to be dangerous. He recognizes that the competition is coming. We're coming for them. I think he's frustrated because his team has seemingly regressed, while the Browns have seemingly improved greatly. So, that's why I'm encouraged. I think that we knew what our weaknesses were. I was worried about this part because containing Lamar requires linebackers and safeties. It just does. And right now that's our biggest weakness, and they exploited it. Sadly, they weren't catching the ball. They weren't hardly throwing the ball, and we still couldn't stop them. So that to me was very disappointing. But even with that, we hung with them and we made it a game. So this week we get the Giants. We should be able to beat the Giants. Hopefully we'll get Hooper back, and for the most part, I don't know about Ward. We'll see. I think he's supposed to practice. But Hooper is definitely going to practice. I'm pretty sure Ward is as well. So hopefully we'll get both of them back. Personally, I would be fine with Ward sitting out this game again if we can get him back for the Steelers in the playoffs. But we also need to wrap up the playoff berth first before we get too worried about resting players for the playoffs. Obviously, everyone's going to want to beat the Steelers, and I do too. So, kind of looking at that game like the real chance to make our mark right before the playoffs, hopefully. So, I don't know. That's my reaction to last night's game. Exciting game. Sad that it ended the way it ended. I know there's a lot of criticism about Parkey. I'm not excited about yesterday's game from him, but I'm also not willing to just cut him or something all of a sudden. Now, if this becomes a trend, if he starts missing more extra points and he starts missing more field goals, then yeah, we're going to definitely have to do something about it. And during the offseason, I would absolutely be looking at upgrading kicker. Because what I said, look at what the Ravens did. They went into that final possession, and they knew they had a guy who could hit a 50-some yarder, and they just needed to get there to get him a chance. And they did, and he did. They won the game. So we don't have that, and that's certainly one of those things that you'd like to have. We also could use an upgraded punter. We'll talk about all these things more at the end of the year. So Anyways, with that, I want to mention there is an incredible article on theathletic.com. Again, I have no connection with theathletic.com. I'm just a big fan. So we are giving away a 30-day guest pass to theathletic.com. We're going to announce that winner on the 28th. So if you want to enter, this is what you got to do. You got to like our Facebook page, follow our Instagram feed, subscribe to us on YouTube, share one of our videos with at least one video with a friend, anyone you like. Pick your favorite video, pick the most current video, whatever you want to do, and invite 5 people to like or follow Buckeye Banter on Facebook, and then message us to let us know that you have done those things, and you'll be entered. It's 30 days free. I know it's not a lot, but you know what? It's something, and you can't get them. The only way to get them is if someone you know who has a subscription gives you one. So, you might have a friend who has one, and you can get one easier than doing these things. But I hopefully would appreciate you doing these things, and we'll give away. We're going to do this for the next few months. Maybe we'll do a couple extra ones around the new year just to boost it up there a little bit. We'll see what happens. So hopefully people will enjoy that and get hooked on theathletic.com like I am. I'm a big fan. So with that, let's jump over to the Cavs. Quickly, just want to talk about the Cavs. Again, it's preseason. I don't want to read too much into it, but I like what I'm seeing from Bickerstaff. I like what I'm seeing from this young group. I think that there is a lot of potential there, and I don't think Bickerstaff is committed to anybody. I think he really wants to see this young team play a certain way. I think it could be very exciting. We'll see what happens when we get into the regular season, if they're able to maintain it or not. But it sounds like they're going to be pushing the ball up the floor a lot. They're going to be looking to get out on the break, take advantage of these guards that they have. And, they've got some guys now who apparently are going to be able to play some defense, which will be great. Exum looks really good. Again, just one night, but he looks really good. Okoro is seeming like he's going to be maybe worthy of that 5th pick, which is great. And we'll see what happens with the rest of these guys. Dylan Windler, who missed all last year so far, is for a depth guy, is seeming like he's going to be able to do that well. Is also we're going to need to see continued growth from Garland and Sexton, and we'll see what happens there. I don't think we haven't even seen Porter yet on the floor due to his stuff. Hopefully that happens soon. So they've got 2 more preseason games against the Knicks coming up. One at home and one on the road, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's how they're doing these. And then we'll get into the regular season, I think, on the 23rd or the 28th. It's not long until they're going to be playing regular season basketball. So, yeah, I'm mildly excited to see what they can do. I don't have super high expectations, but I also think that Bickerstaff has the potential to get something out of these guys. And we'll see when it comes to this season. It's going to be a strange season. There's so much weird stuff happening in this league with all these, moves of high level players around the league, and there's still talk of more happening. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know that the Cavs are going to get too involved in any of that unless someone really wants to give up something pretty significant for K-Love. So, and again, if K-Love wants to go, I think they'll facilitate that. So I've said that before. I continue to believe that Kevin Love has done all he can for this city and this team. And if he wants to leave and you get a reasonable offer for him, they'll do it. I'd be sure of it. So, I think they signed him to this big extension expecting someone to want him, and that contract might help it. And maybe they overpaid him for that. But you know what? Again, this guy has been just nothing but class. And he's got the potential to really continue to be a cornerstone for this team, and they need someone to be that. So we'll see what happens this year. And yeah, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Buckeye Banter with your friends. I hope you enjoy it. This is something I enjoy doing, and I hope that a little bit that I can share with you guys is enjoyable and beneficial. So have a good one, and go Browns.